Hey everybody, welcome to the new episode of Dork Souls. I'm one of your hosts, Hector Navarro.
And I am Lisa Wallen, and today we have a very special guest, my good friend Katy Bentz, amazing voice actor and streamer. Today we talk about cruise ships.
Yep.
We talk about weird niche fandoms. We talk about movies and video games that we love like we always do.
Yeah.
It's a great episode, and I'm happy you're going to watch it.
Hey, be sure to give us a review on all your podcast platforms. Don't forget, we've got 2 bonus episodes of this show on our Patreon, which you should go check out. And thanks for watching. Follow your dreams.
How are you doing?
Pretty good, Lisa. Pretty good.
Listen,
yeah.
we're not doing the intro yet, so we can just
Okay.
go right into the
really?
cold opening.
Okay, good. Okay. No, I'm good. You're looking for an update right now. You're looking for a
Yeah.
Dork Souls update.
We'll
What's my
introduce our
update?
guest in a second. She's
Sure.
not here right
I know,
yet.
I know.
She's in the corner.
My dorky update is I've been really into Superman lately, and I've been reading a bunch of Superman comics, and I read a Superman book and listening to Superman music. So I've been all about Superman.
Superman.
Yeah.
Is it this? What is Superman music?
It's John Williams, Lisa. It's iconic film
Hell
music.
yeah.
It's,
I love that. I love that for you, actually. I have a bunch of dorky updates, but I think we should introduce our guest first because we're really bad at the whole not introducing our guest. We're getting better.
She's right there. She's amazing.
This is our 4th guest we've had on this wonderful podcast. And I'm very excited to introduce our guest today because not only is she an amazing streamer / voice actress and with Steph in Life is Strange because I read it on your thing, but she's also one of my best friends in the entire world and I get to interview her now and it's really great. Let's give a round of applause for Katy Bentz.
Thank you.
For being on our podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Thank you.
I know it's nice to come on and just like hang with a friend.
I know. And now I'm like, now it's professional time. I was like, Katy, what do you do? No, I'm just kidding. Katy, would you like to share any cool dorky updates with your life lately? Anything that you're watching? Anything that you're excited about? Any video games you've been playing?
What did I just watch? Oh, I just watched the Poop Cruise documentary
Oh,
on Netflix.
I actually heard about that. I heard about that.
It's great.
Wait, what's the Poop Cruise?
Okay, the Poop Cruise. So I don't even know what year this was. This was like probably a decade ago or something.
Okay.
But the Poop Cruise, it was a Carnival cruise. And it was a 4-day cruise out of Miami to like Mexico. Very quick cruise, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Supposed to be nice. But on the way back, like their last day back, there was a fire. There was a fire and
poop fire.
Wait for the poop comes soon. Wait for it though. But yeah, there was a fire that just destroyed all of the electrical cords.
Ooh.
And so all the electricity in the ship went out. There's 4,000 people on this boat and everything
like it went out.
Like it went out. There's no electricity, nothing. The ship can't move. Like nothing can run, nothing.
And they're in the middle of the ocean.
They're in the middle of the dang
Do
ocean.
toilets need electricity?
Yes,
No,
to flush.
Oh, I guess.
Yes, these ones needed electricity to
'cause
flush.
it's a cruise.
And so so they were out sea for 7 days before they finally got tugboated back to shore to like Alabama or something. But they were having like it was bad. And when they started getting like tugged, the ship started to turn, and so all of the pee that they were peeing in the showers and that was like backed up, and so there's like piss and shit everywhere.
And you were trying to get us to go on a cruise.
Oh, I'll still go on a cruise.
I don't know.
I'll still go on a cruise.
I find it
Really?
fascinating. Most women I know,
100%.
documentaries are like serial killers. You're like, I watched the Poop Cruise.
I watched
It's
the Poop Cruise.
It's kind of a serial killer documentary in a way.
It's just like it's just crazy. And I do love cruises, so it's like fun to like watch that. I don't know, and just like be like, it's fun.
Do you feel like you're more prepared if and when you and your friend group you convince them to go on a cruise, that if something goes down, you'll be like, guys, we can't poop in the tub. You have to hang your butt over the side of the ship. We need to start doing that now.
They gave them hazardous red poop bags, and they would have to poop in the bag and put it outside of their door.
Yeah, and then
they
they
poop
chuck
in the
it over
ocean.
No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't chuck it over. They'd keep it.
God.
Yeah, it was just nasty.
You don't know what's in the ocean. A poop monster could grow, and just attack the ship. That's insane.
It was nasty.
I'm too terrified to be in the ocean where I can't
it's so fun.
escape.
You don't even like realize it.
Katie, have you been on a cruise before?
Yes, I've been on 3.
3. Which ones? A Carnival cruise?
No, and I will never go on a Carnival cruise.
You need to know about Katy because this is the first time you're meeting.
Yeah.
Katy is not only insane, but she travels. She does
really?
She'll go anywhere and do it. You were just in Europe for like what? How long?
Like 20 days.
Yeah.
Where
she
in
has
Europe?
We went to Spain. We went to
España, first of all.
Italy.
Italia.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. We went to Spain and Italy, and we went to Greece.
That's really good pronunciation.
Thanks. But yeah, it was super fun. I went with my mom. It was a mother-daughter trip.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I was going to say, you said we, so who was on the trip? It wasn't Lisa and the friend group.
No.
It was you and Mom.
I've only successfully been able to get them to a wine trip.
And that was hilarious.
That's all.
Not to get into too much detail, but we went to Lake Arrowhead.
Yeah, Lake Arrowhead. Okay. I have a friend up there who his family owns a winery, and so we went up there, and it was super fun.
And I want to do it again.
Yeah.
So you're like the travel friend. You're like
She's the one who gets
Lisa
people
travels
together.
too. Lisa travels probably more than I've traveled.
For work.
But I feel like you're like the organizer of the trip.
I do like to organize.
Because I'm like, from what I know about Lisa, I'm like, you're not the organizer of the trip. I hung out in Japan with Lisa, and I don't think that Lisa was the organizer of the trip.
I am.
Was it really?
You don't realize how my OCD works.
Really?
I have documents. I just let Katie do it because she'll take the reins.
Lisa's very organized.
Okay, cool.
I feel like anybody who's watched, she really is organized. She was over at my house the other day for celebrating my birthday, and she would not let me cut my own watermelon. She needed to cut the watermelon. She was offended when I tried to take the knife from her. She did not want me to take it away.
I have a problem with I like taking all the tasks.
Okay.
So having a friend like Katie's nice because she's willing to offload some of that. And usually I won't let people, but I trust you because so far you haven't fucked anything up. So that's great. I won't go on a cruise with you though. I only know one poop cruise story. Can I tell it?
What? You also have a poop cruise story?
I do. And it's the Dave Matthews one. Have you heard about the Dave Matthews band one?
Yep.
Wait, in Chicago or whatever?
Yes.
That wasn't a cruise. It was like a boat.
It was like one of those duck boats that were in the water.
Boat.
I mean, that's kind of a cruise. You're cruising on the river.
It's a river. It's like a 2-hour
Dave
river
Matthews
cruise.
Poop. That's the only story I know that's poop related.
I mean, those people were traumatized.
Yeah,
they were shit on.
Well, and the reason why I bring this up is because I don't know if you knew this or if they still do it, but for some reason, Dave Matthews band plays every year on Labor Day weekend at the Gorge.
Oh, really?
Which is so weird because to me, Dave Matthews is just a guy.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't anything special.
Sure.
But he either owns a winery or stays on a winery at the Gorge. So every weekend for the last 20 years, he's played Labor Day weekend at the Gorge, 4 sold out shows.
I think my parents have probably seen him play.
It's like Burning Man for old people who work at JCPenney's.
JCPenney's doesn't exist anymore.
Really?
Well, did work at JCPenney's. Now they work at Kohl's.
Yes.
I don't know what replaced JCPenney's, but
JCPenney's is gone.
But I went 3 years in a row, and it's really fun. I don't give a shit about Dave Matthews, but it was fun. It was like if you can't afford to go to Burning Man, you go here.
There's another festival, another wine and
did they burn
festival.
a big man?
They did not burn Dave Matthews, unfortunately, but they do. But there's vendors in the campsites, and people are giving each other stuff, and and it was really fun. But then when I was coming home, my friend was like, "Well, you heard about what Dave Matthews did back, or his band's bus did back in 1999." I was
that's when you learned about it.
Yeah, I
remember it on the news. I remember when it happened on the. I feel like Saturday Night Live.
That's crazy. I literally just learned about it 2 months ago.
I just know It's Always Sunny made fun of it.
I feel like it happened in 2008.
Yeah,
probably.
I think is when it 2008, somewhere around there. It's kind of at the height of their
We don't like him. He's canceled for pooping.
I mean,
I love that the first 10 minutes of this podcast have been about pooping and cruising.
We can probably figure out how to make the whole podcast about poop.
I mean,
Lisa, would you never go on a cruise?
No.
Why not?
I'm terrified
Scared
of them.
of the ocean?
I also,
But you won't feel like you're on the ocean.
But here's the thing. It's also just not the vibe that I want. For me, it's if I'm trapped.
Lisa.
For me, it feels like a mall on the sea.
Katie
just went.
There's alcohol.
Yeah.
And there's so much to do. And
I love
alcohol.
that's her selling point. Lisa, you can get drunk.
Alcohol.
You can. And there's pools and
I have huge respect for cruise ship comedians. Because to be a cruise ship comedian, typically you have to have an hour of clean material, an hour of
This is true.
dirty.
The last one I was on, he had one set at 8 p.m. that was clean, and then the 11 p.m. one was
Do you remember who it was?
God, I can't remember.
Was he an old white dude?
He was a white dude, and I think he was British or something.
There's 10 of them,
They do the cruise.
and they all do the cruise, and they make so much money.
How many? So you said you've been on 3 cruises, Katie.
Yes.
Which ones were they?
So I did
we were talking about cruises.
2 princess cruises.
Okay.
And then I did a Royal Caribbean cruise.
What's the difference between those? Are they basically the same thing?
So Royal
Just different
Caribbean
companies?
and Princess, their own, like there's two different cruise conglomerate companies.
Okay.
And so so Princess and Carnival are owned by like the same company, Carnival Corporation, and it all just like goes down from there. And then there's like their like higher end cruises. I can't remember what they are.
But Princess is higher end than a Carnival cruise?
So Princess is like one step up.
Okay, you never do a Carnival cruise, but you did 2 Princess cruises.
Yes.
Okay, great.
And then Royal Caribbean, I think, is like on par with Princess or like right below Princess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do the Disney cruises fall under this?
Higher.
And is that their own company? It's all owned by Disney?
Did you know there's a tier list of cruises?
No, I didn't. I'm learning about this. This is like a Disneyland pass.
I don't know. Disney might own their own. Like,
is there a Club 33 on these cruises?
Ooh, I don't know. I would like to go on a Disney cruise at least once though.
Here's why I'm asking. Because I'm also not, I don't think I'm going to ever seek out a regular cruise. And even though I'm like a Disney person, I don't think I'd necessarily want to do a Disney cruise. But here's what I am interested in. And I need
Gundam
you to,
cruise.
If that exists, I need you to either convince me to not do it or whatever. I'm interested in the Star Trek cruise because I'm a big Trekkie.
I wouldn't do it.
What? Katie, why? You're breaking my heart.
Hear about
You're
that?
breaking
It's
my
gonna
heart.
be smelly.
Well,
What
also,
are you? Oh, that's mean.
Also,
is it because of Trekkies? Is this a?
I think I there was like a Comic-Con cruise too.
Yes,
and like
I heard bad things about that.
I just think those like. I just don't think that it works on a cruise.
Okay.
It's the same thing with going to Anime Expo and they're handing out free deodorant.
It's just like
I'm a Trekkie. I smell good. Am I stinky?
Wait, you said Star Trek or Star Wars?
No, but they're just
Trekkie.
there's just some people that I don't know. And
you don't want to party with them.
No, you're just
Katie being a nerd hates nerds.
Yeah, I hate nerds so much.
I do.
But yeah, I don't know. Like it just doesn't seem right.
Your first instinct was as soon as I said Star Trek, you're like, no, don't do that cruise.
Like, no,
it's interesting.
But if there was like there's an emo cruise, I'll go on that.
Emo cruise?
Yeah, I'm wearing my emo shirt. I wore this for you today.
Thanks.
Because we're both emo kids.
There's an emo night like.
Don't you fear a little bit that with something as kind of general as emo, that like whoever's in charge of that might not, like it might be a little bit of a fire festival? Do you know what I'm saying? Like they're just kind of capitalizing on that. Versus...
everyone thought that when we were young fest was like a fire fest, and then turned out wasn't.
It's great. Yeah.
Okay, great. Versus like
no.
Because
I know my friends have played it, so
because Star Trek is like a very known thing that is technically a brand that is technically owned by some corporation, that there's gonna be some sort of more safety.
I also don't think,
do you know what I'm saying?
I don't think that certain Trekkies would go on a cruise, because I think when you're really involved in like a really nerdy niche
they do it
thing,
though. If there is a cruise, they
let loose. They let loose. I've seen videos, I've seen pictures, I've seen, the Star Trek cruises that have gone down.
The stinky ones.
What's that?
Yeah, maybe the stinky indoor ones.
I don't know. I just watch all
also,
these like
aren't
horror
you in open
stories.
water and you're worried about people's BO?
No, I'm just worried. it's just I don't know. Like what did I watch? Oh,
this poop cruise documentary.
I've just seen like furry cons gone wrong. I've just seen like what is the one?
Cons gone
There's
wrong.
that one. I don't know. There was like a furry con that I watched. It was called Fur
Is
Fest
it the one
or
that was
something.
in Seattle?
Maybe yes. But like there was people like pooping in diapers and throwing it on people's cars, and like I will say I don't know.
I will say there is. I feel like that's the issue with a lot of fandoms, because like I'm very harsh on anime fandoms. I'm an anime fan and I should not be, but then it's like there's the anime fans that wear like the what the Heigao is the Heigao is.
Yeah.
They wear those T-shirts with like the underage girls doing the.
It's obnoxious.
And it's like it's just like
it's not funny, ironically or unironically, or it's just like just
here's
don't do
the
it.
thing that I hate about anime fans though is that we're looking at furries. You're like, there are people who are genuinely whatever. They got a fursuit, they got a thing, and then there's the people who are like disgusting and like and weird and into weird shit. Yes. But with anime, and we separate those. But with anime, even like the big anime TikTokers are wearing those shirts. Like even like they're trying to normalize that.
I think there is a little bit more of that stuff that is like socially accepted in the world of being an anime fan.
And I think it's also because it's like ignorant. It's like they're like, Japan thing is cool. You know what I mean? Like, have you seen that meme?
No.
Where it's like you'll show a field and they'll be like boring field, and they say boring field Japan. Everyone's like, yeah, it's Japan.
Just because it's Japan,
And like people like.
Have you been to Japan?
No, bucket list.
We're gonna go.
Okay.
We're gonna go on a cruise to Japan.
No, don't do that. Don't do
30
it.
days long.
No, I'm not even kidding you guys. There is a cruise that goes out of Tokyo, and I'm gonna go on it.
I'll only do it if it's Star Trek themed.
It like stops in Taiwan. It stops in South Korea and
that
Thailand.
Would be dope.
Because I want to see all these Southeast Asian countries, but I've realized that like going to one place and then like like 5 days later moving to another place.
Yeah.
And it's just so much freaking work.
It is.
So to do all of that travel,
but how do you not miss your cats after 5 days?
What do you mean? I miss them. Of course I miss them.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna bring them with me next time.
On the cruise?
I don't think that's allowed.
Yeah, very bad idea.
But it's the same thing with like, actually this is a good transition. It's the same thing with like streaming. It's like you have people who are like genuinely very supportive of you, and then you have people who like don't understand the parasocial aspect.
Yeah.
And I hate getting these comments from comedians. I'm sure you get it from dudes where it's like, oh yeah, like you're just collecting that simp money, or it's like you just have guys on your stream that just like ogle over you, blah blah. I was like, I'm sure there are, but like people like my stuff because they like me and they want me to like explore the games that they love and the interests that they love. Like they're not being like, yeah, if she plays this game, it's gonna be so fucking hot. It's like, I don't think that's how it works, And then they're like really excited to like meet you and like come in. Like, yeah, there is a small number of weirdos and there is a small number of people who are just like, show me your titties or whatever. But most of the time it's just no, like people are not gonna spend 20 hours a week watching your content if they don't enjoy you as a person.
Yeah.
It's like there's plenty of gorgeous women online. They're not going to spend 20 hours staring at one because they think they're hot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that weird parasocial is the only way to come up with. I'm sure you have some.
Yeah. Most of mine came from, hey, you didn't like this superhero movie the way that I liked it. So now I hate you and want you to lose all of your career and income and everything. I'm like, that's unhealthy, man.
I think some people shouldn't have the internet.
No, 100%.
Yeah, I agree.
I think you should pass a test to use the online services.
10 years ago, I said, I don't think anything that you do on the internet should be anonymous. I think it should all be, but I also feel like that with everything. There should be transparency at every level of human society, every level of everything.
I also think you should forgive what people say online.
Yeah.
Because like there's
to a degree.
Something
to a degree.
There's things where it's like, oh yeah, I didn't like Naruto when I first started, or I loved Naruto when I first started watching it. Then I hated it, and then when it ended, I was like, I hate this anime because it went on a different direction. It got too popular and it felt rushed and blah blah.
And you don't want to be judged for that opinion.
And then I kept watching more anime. I was like, oh, this is just a formula. I actually really love Naruto. Naruto did it right.
Great,
and then people will be like, I remember you specifically shitting on Naruto.
No, I know you're allowed to change your mind,
but you're like, I just kept watching more things, and like sometimes you change your mind. And that's why I just don't engage in discourse anymore. Like
no, go ahead.
As I say, I just post I like this thing. I even said, because I used to do like a lot of reviews online, and now I only do it if I get paid. But like when I like something, I'll be like, I liked it, and they'll be like, that's it. I'm like, what do you want me to say? If I deep dive into things I don't,
people are gonna like just pick at everything
because I think the problem is, and it goes with all fandoms and anyone who's just kind of a nerd, is that they're just desperate for people to pay attention to them. And like, and especially as being a woman, because if I like something they like, they need to still feel superior about it. Like there's no way this woman can like the thing I like.
Sure.
So I still have to educate her in the thing that she likes. And it's like, ugh, it's not how it works, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, nothing should be anonymous.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I love that you're just like, here's all the Shrek movies, and I ranked them. Like, good for you, man.
Yeah.
And you're like,
I don't have to worry about the stuff you have to worry about. It's true. I can just rank the Shrek movies. You're absolutely right. What a gift. What a privilege. That's male privilege. I can just rank the Shrek movies.
I do.
Number one, Puss in Boots, The Last Wish. That's number one with a bullet.
Puss in Boots is pretty good. The newest one?
Yeah, the newest one.
Yeah.
I have a question for Katy. Because I think in an effort to try to get to some of your nerdier interests, maybe they're a little deep down in there, maybe they're a little buried. I'm like, let me see if I can pull them out by also including cruises, which we know that you love.
Yes.
If I was
Hector
excited,
is trying to give Katy a new career.
Yeah, no, not a new career. No.
I would never work on a cruise.
If I'm excited about potentially going on a Star Trek cruise because I love Star Trek.
Yes.
Star Trek cruise.
If you had to pick, I'm still on it. If you had to pick, I don't care what you guys say. I think I'm still going to try to go on it. But if you had to pick like a theme of something that you see, like all of a sudden this is a new like cruise, it's like blank themed, what would be the thing you'd be most excited about? You'd be like, oh, day one, click, I want to go on that cruise.
Cats.
No, would be weird. The people would be weird.
Maybe, yeah.
No, I think like a music cruise.
Ooh,
yeah.
okay.
So like some kind of music cruise, I think would be sick.
Emo music.
Yeah, like that, or even just like a food cruise,
Oh.
but like a vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, egg-free,
You're going into,
soy-free.
but you want like you're looking for like fandom shit.
Sure.
Oh,
I'm
a
looking for
fandom
like
shit.
I'm looking for like movies, TV shows,
Okay,
like
so
a
The Katy Bentz cruise.
Yeah, so I have thought about like, yeah, if I had a bigger community, I'd be like, guys, let's get on a cruise. Let's go on a cruise.
Let's do it. Let's rent out this boat.
No, I do really like League of Legends. I would be like the one
cool.
IP that I really love,
Which would be the worst cruise to ever go on too.
Probably. It would be the
Why?
most toxic cruise.
It would be the most. I mean, like it's anytime that's like a competitive game or esports, like
I
we're
hear
getting.
Yeah, but like
Yeah.
it would be League of Legends Arcane cruise.
Yeah,
like, it would be that part
if it
of
was like more for like the cosplayers,
Yeah,
and the people
yeah.
who are just like fans of the characters.
Beautiful
in the series.
cosplayers, man.
Yeah,
That
because there's
stuff
a
is awesome.
difference. Like there's people who watch Arcane and they have no idea what the heck League is.
Oh,
Totally.
same
But
here.
and then there's people who watched Arcane and then they started playing League and they're like, oh my god, I love the lore of everything.
Which
Yep.
I think is, and we've talked about video game adaptations.
Yeah.
I feel like that they did that so well.
Arcane,
good.
where it's
Arcane's
like,
up there, top
where,
of the
so
list.
where they're
freaking
like,
good.
we want to do a video game adaptation as a TV show, and you're like, well, you're taking 100 hours worth of gameplay into 8 hours. I was
Yeah.
like, the best thing you could do is just take the characters and put them in their own universe, which is what they did.
Yep.
And it works with League of Legends because it's not really a story-based.
That's what I've
game.
heard. You're an expert on League of Legends, so I always defer to the experts, but
no
that's
expert,
kind of what I've
but
heard.
there is lore. There's like over 200 characters,
Yeah.
champions, and like there's like stories upon lore.
But it's not like you're playing League of Legends to get to a cutscene.
No,
basically.
no,
Yeah.
Right.
you're just playing the game mindlessly, like trying to get to the other side,
You
and
can't-
like there's no.
You can't really
Oh,
do
man.
that. Like you can't really do like.
But once you learn about the lore, it's cool though, because then it's
Mhm.
just like, I don't know, because somebody could have another person on their team and you're like fighting against them, but you guys have like a backstory, and then that can be
Oh,
like
that's
fun.
cool.
But like it's all just within your mind. You're just creating it.
and that
but-
I feel like is a healthy way to play the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't play with like random people. Like
Mhm.
I never
Just your friends.
Yeah, I just
Who
like
do you main, as the kids say?
Brand.
Brand.
Yeah.
Is Brand in the show Arcane or no?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, but
Everybody
yeah,
I ask, I'm always like, who do you main?
Have
And they
you
always name a character that's not in the Arcane
because
show.
there's only like a handful that are
Yeah.
actually in the
Have
game
you watched
or the
Arcane yet?
show.
I watched both seasons of Arcane. I haven't played any of League of Legends yet. So
yeah,
that's my
I
only...
have played Jinx. Like I did learn a little bit of Jinx when I
Oh,
first
cool.
played.
And you cosplayed as her.
Okay.
I did cosplay.
did?
I've cosplayed as Jinx and I've cosplayed as Vi.
Oh,
Whoa.
I
And I
remember the
cosplayed as
that's like a get you a woman that can do both. Like that's so funny. They're like
yeah,
so
it was
opposite.
fun. Yeah, it was. I would like to do Caitlyn at some point. I think that'd be fun. But yeah, the Jinx cosplay I feel like turned out really well.
Katie always does cosplays. Katie,
That's
I will
awesome.
say this because we probably will have to talk about streaming stuff. I feel like out of every person I know who streams, you're always doing the most insane shit. Like you'll
It's
dress up.
because I
you-
get so bored.
You do like you did like a Bob Ross thing.
Yeah,
You do
Wait,
like
what?
I should do more of that.
Yeah.
Did you cosplay as Bob Ross?
Yeah, like I'll just go on stream and I'll do like Katie Ross streams.
Awesome.
Yeah, they turn out like if you are put them on a wall and you walk really far away, they actually look kind of good.
The actual landscapes that you
Like
painted?
what I paint.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but if
believe
you
it.
look up close, you're like the.
No.
When- it's like she's the type of streamer I wish I could be because
Aw.
like
You can.
I could no
You
I
can do
can't.
it. Yeah, you
If
can.
I would have to quit stand up, I have very much
Oh.
realized if I want to put 100% to streaming and 100% to stand up, I can't do both.
Oh, it's so. I mean, that's
Yeah.
how it is. Like
Yeah.
with me in voice acting, or me with like anything. It's just like it. Like yeah, like you have to put all of your all into one thing if you want to be like the best you can be at it. And if it's divided, it's like there's always
Yep.
gonna be that
It's
divide.
like the nerdy thing. Like everyone's like, oh, if you like anime, you also must love comic books. You also must
No.
love manga. It's like, how much free time do you think I have?
Yeah, you kind
Like,
of
I
pick
can't-
one lane and you kind
Yeah.
of stick to
Or
that.
if you play one video game, you probably play all of them. You know, how
Yeah.
many people ask me if I'll ever play League. Oh, you'll really love it. Yeah, but it'll ruin my life
yeah,
because I know I cannot. I've decided I cannot play games that have no ending.
yeah.
Like there's no end
Oh.
goal.
Animal Crossing?
Yeah, I
Stardew
kind of
Valley?
stopped playing. Stardew Valley, you can end unless
Okay.
you're certain people, and
Your
then
friend
you can, yeah,
Sam.
you can just keep going.
Yeah.
But also, like League of Legends, it's like every person I know, I don't know
Yeah,
anyone
or
who's
like
just
Fortnite.
who's casually just played. Oh, I've only played like I've put like 40 hours into it. No one's
to
ever
League.
said
I
that.
mean, that's like. I mean, I've played more than 40 hours, but
Yeah.
That's
like.
what I mean. It's like
Yeah.
But I would say I'm a casual League player.
Okay.
I've already put like 200 into Helldivers. I'm like this game.
No,
is
but
I
way-
couldn't play Helldivers.
I think Lisa's thing is that she likes to like finish a chapter.
Yeah.
Like she's described to me that some of the anime tattoos she has on her body are like, I watched this entire show and became obsessed with it. And this is my way to say like, close the chapter.
Now I'm done.
It's like a murder trophy.
Whereas like you are playing League still because you can kind of just hop into it. Yeah. And that's casual, but Lisa's like, no. I need to know what the end point is. You need to feel
satisfied. You need to cross the thing off your to-do list.
That's the problem with being, I'm not really like a completionist. I know people just platinum every video game.
I couldn't even do
I've done that with like 2 games. Yeah. And I was like, I'm good.
But you like to at least finish. You don't have to completionist it, but you finish it. I think
eventually I will want to like platinum like Bloodborne or something. Okay. You know, but in general, it's like, I've had to like stop playing Helldivers because I'm like 100 hours. There's no ending to this game. Like, so unless anybody's like, let's play it, I'm like, I'm never going to casually pick this up.
Yeah.
Are they still adding content to League of Legends?
Yeah.
Are they still adding characters?
Yeah, they're adding stuff, taking stuff away.
Have you ever voiced a character in League of Legends?
God, that right there would be a dream job. Yeah.
My girlfriend voices a character in League of Legends.
What? Which one?
Can I brag? My girlfriend Abby voices Gwen with the scissors.
Wait. Gwen's, I don't want to play against
Hector
Gwen.
Just wants to flex at his.
No, but that's freaking.
Flex.
Yeah, Gwen is not fun to play against. But
really?
Wow. No, yeah. But I mean, that's amazing.
Hector just wants to flex.
No, you should flex.
That
that's
his
great.
girlfriend is the coolest voice actress in the entire world.
Well, she's not the coolest voice actor in this room.
Well,
she's my favorite that I know because I love her very much.
Make sure you keep saying she's your favorite.
Okay, I do. I will. But not. But right now in this room, Katie's my favorite voice actor.
I do want to know because I know the parasocial thing. I don't really deal with parasocial things with comedy because a lot of comedian, like my comedy fans, don't really watch my stream. But with you probably get a lot with Life is Strange.
Oh yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
Because that's a massive
like people
game.
treating you like the character.
Oh, 100%. Like there's people that there's still people to this day who have watched my stream for so many years and they still think that I am Steph.
Wow.
And I'm like, we have a command in my chat it's an exclamation, this is Katy, and it literally says, this is Katy, Steph is a character she played.
Wow.
Because of the amount of people that'll come in, like regulars that'll come in and be like, hey Steph. And I'm like, that's
kind of nice of you to even offer that. That's in that way. It's a kind of a because it's parasocial. It's parasocial. I'm
sure, Abby deals with that too.
Yes, to a degree. I think that she's been pretty lucky in that her major roles are like she's in some anime, so she voices Nezuko and Demon Slayer.
Oh, that's cool.
And that's that little demon girl with the bamboo in her mouth. Very different than when you meet Abby. So I feel like it's kind of like I think it honestly like
you
it
actually
is kind of,
do kind of look like Steph, which probably doesn't help.
It's
because did you do like motion performance capture?
I did, but they didn't like it's not my face.
Got it.
I mean, it's my face movements.
Got it. See,
but they didn't take but I mean that is my body moving, and that's
It's a very emotional character too.
It is. Well, and what's like, and the fans that are like respectful and that like play the game and they get something out of it. Like I love those fans, and they tell me how much the character means to them.
That's awesome.
I mean, there's multiple people who have like literally gotten out of a dark place because of this character, or found out that they were gay or bi or pan or whatever. Like they've just been like accepting of who they are as a person, and I'm like, fuck yeah, like I love that so much, and like that's the meaningful part of it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that people have been able to like express that to me, and I love that. That's awesome, and they're able to
that's awesome. I don't know how I'd feel if somebody walked up and says, your comedy made me realize I was gay. Oh, thanks, dude.
Well, it's just
it could happen, Lisa. It could happen.
It could. Yeah.
Maybe not for the reasons you think, but somebody will come up and be like, I think your comedy.
I thought you were so hot, and then I heard you talk, and I'm gay now. So there you go. Your comedy's so unfunny.
That'd be great. Or it could be a lady that comes up to you and says, your comedy made me realize I'm gay.
I have been picked up in actually one time in Seattle. I did a show, and this lesbian couple left me a note after, and I still have it, where it said
you laminated it. You're like, this is the best.
I had it because it was so funny, because like I did a whole like half-hour set about like being single and like doing playing video games, and they wrote in, they're like, hey, if the men aren't working out, you can always swing the other way with a winky face. And then it goes, but if you're not into that, here's our Nintendo ID if you ever want to play
adorable
Did you reach it out? Did you reach out?
But I was like, this is so fun. But also I thought it'd be so weird if I added them. I was like, hey, you guys want to play games together? And then I'm in like their little throuple.
Imagine this is like you connect with them on Nintendo, become genuine friends, hang out in person, and then years go by, and then somebody goes, hey, how'd you guys meet? And then you get to say, funny story, they actually tried to
unicorn me.
I mean, it would work now if they're playing Elden Ring Night Rain, because you can only play with 3 people. So it's just me always being like,
you hear that? that lesbian couple?
Hear that
from back home in Seattle?
Yeah,
where
play Night
from?
Rain, and then we can hang out together
That's
online.
So
There's no voice chat, but I'll follow you.
I'll follow you. I love the idea of a League of Legends Arcane cruise. I think that's a great idea, Katie.
Yeah.
I think you got something.
I think there's gonna be a lot of fucking on that cruise too.
Oh my gosh.
There's like I think there's fucking on every cruise.
Yeah,
there's so much.
The most on the Star Trek cruise.
Yes.
Or the least. I don't know. I think with regular cruises, obviously, because everyone's in party mode, but I think with a fandom cruise specifically, I mean, it's like that meme you see right now on Instagram where it's like the anime couple that's like next to you, and it's the guy being like, "Do you know why I punished you?" And it's just,
I haven't seen that meme, Lisa.
That's okay. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
But people watching this, they know what I'm talking about because
great.
their algorithm's probably as cursed as mine is.
Okay, got it.
But it's like I went to, I did a hentai fest. I do it every year for comedy. It's 18 plus anime convention.
This is in Las Vegas?
It's the Vegas one.
Yeah.
Because they put on a comedy show and they put the comics up in the room.
Oh, okay.
And it's not on the strip, but it's...
Well, I thought you were just going
because
you wanted to go. I didn't know that you were going to work.
Next time, lead with that second part, I feel like.
No, I was just going to lead with I went to a hentai fest.
Okay.
And I did 2 years in a row because they put you up in a room and it's like, there's some shit there. But overall, it's like you have a great audience. You get at least 100 people to come to your comedy show.
A captive audience.
Very captive audience. Doing comedy shows at conventions is just a great idea in general.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what they are because you go to panels all day.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, you're like, I just want to relax.
Totally.
And then you're like, oh shit, they got a comedy show.
Yep.
That would be great. Like that's a great way to charge my phone and also get some entertainment.
Totally.
But it is very interesting because it's like, on one hand, these are people who just love anime and they come and they bring their merch and there's like t-shirts and art. And then there's people who sell dildos shaped as dragon dicks. And so you're like,
fun.
and there was a booth where you could get spanked by all the big OnlyFans girls and be a line of men on leashes. I was like, you know what? Thank God no children are allowed to be here right now.
Absolutely.
And I feel bad for the people who stay at the resort and not know that that's what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's not like they wipe it out and it's just like the anime convention.
It's happening in our convention room. But then there's other people in the hotel or whatever.
And they had these things called they were like called Bible studies and they were in certain rooms. I was like, what's Bible study? And like,
no.
They're orgies.
Oh,
yeah.
Like it's just like a sex room right there.
Yeah, they call them Bible studies. And so at the end of the night, like people would be like, I mean, if you want to check out a Bible study, like I'm good. I don't need. I'm just gonna go back to my hotel room, play my Switch.
Gosh.
Yeah, because
I'll study the Bible by myself. Thank you very much.
And, and it's a bunch of horny people with similar interests being in a close space together.
Honestly, more power to them.
More power to them.
Like I'm glad that they found a place.
Protection.
Good for them. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you know.
Do they test for STDs? I wonder.
I hope so.
They have an STD booth there.
I hope
do
so.
they?
No, they don't.
They
should
would
be hilarious.
They should. Honestly,
I agree.
They should.
Super, they should be handing out condoms and stuff at the convention.
They do have free condoms.
Okay, good.
You would think free deodorant would also go with that, but no. But it's just a very interesting experience.
Yeah.
Where you're like,
I wonder how many children have been conceived at that anime convention.
Oh my gosh.
Probably enough. You know.
Can you
anime babies?
At this point, here's the real question.
They could have their own convention.
Yeah. At this point, how long have those kinds of conventions been happening? Which means like, if a kid, like how old could a kid be where they're like, yeah, I was conceived at a 20-year-old?
Maybe.
A 30-year-old?
Probably
like,
20.
I did see a proposal at Evo a couple years ago. Oh my God.
What's Evo?
Have you been to Evo? Okay.
What's it stand for?
EVO? It's evolution. I'm pretty sure what it is.
What is it?
It's the fighting game, like... It's like the Super Bowl for fighting game stuff. Oh,
cool. So it's kind of like an esports thing also?
Yeah, which is honestly, I'd love to talk about this because I love it so much. But I went for the first time a few years ago with Evil Geniuses when I was working there. And at first I was not very interested because I don't really like fighting games that much. And I was like, oh, but we had Sonic Fox, who is probably the most famous furry in the world and also the most famous fighting game player.
I remember that.
And They Kill Sage, who's one of my favorite people ever. We were going to support them, and I ended up loving it. I thought Evo was one of the greatest sporting events I've ever been in my life. And I'm not a sports person, but I love going to baseball games. I love going to football games.
It's just like entertainment. It's
hot
fun.
dogs.
It's like
I love drinking
hot dogs
in public.
and beer.
Yeah. Like, that's really it. Drinking in public in the sunshine and hanging out with people and no pressure to like leave or
Wait a
stay the whole
second.
time.
That sounds like the definition of a
cruise. That's right.
Except for I can escape. And if the poop rooms don't work at the baseball stadium, I can leave. That's the beauty of that.
This is true.
This
is true.
But at Evo, I didn't realize this because you have everybody who's into the same thing, and it's not like football where people are literally just going to like either football or you drink. People go to Evo because they're excited.
They're into it.
They're into it. And the energy I felt from them watching the Mortal Kombat finals, just a bunch of dudes that were just yelling and they're getting loud at like Joker doing a fucking fatality. I was like, this shit fucks. Like that's all.
That does sound awesome.
And it was at the Mandalay Bay in Vegas. So then after that, you go to the bars and clubs. And it's just a bunch of like fighting game community players.
That's kind of awesome.
Yeah, it was fucking
Where did you see the proposal?
I saw the proposal at the end of the night. I forgot. Maybe it might have been Guilty Gear or whatever. But
was it up on the stage?
No, it was like, I wish it was.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was a player. I think it was a couple that was there. And they were wearing jerseys. And he just gets down on one knee and proposes to her.
Like you saw it at a bar or
like
something?
in the convention hall?
I completely forgot about that part because I got excited talking about Evo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like, right. And people were like clapping. And there was like, it was really cute. And I was like, I don't know if they filmed it, but I was like, somebody just got proposed to. Now they're going to have a fighting game baby.
Yeah. Maybe that baby was conceived that very night. You're right.
And that kid grew up to be Sonic Fox. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. And they named that boy Raiden from Mortal Kombat.
So see, if they had...
They named that baby Sub-Zero.
So
they probably did name it something.
Yeah.
To tie this all back to cruises...
Katana.
They named it Katana. I think it was an Asian girl and a white dude. So he was in paradise, and they definitely named their kid Katana. So
if it's a girl, Katana. If it's a boy, Goro.
Gross. But see that if we're going back to cruises and you're kind of convinced me, if I was into like fighting games and I saw an Evo cruise, that would be
no, I bet they literally there's a cruise for everything. They probably
she's
have
gonna
that.
send me a list of cruises at the end of the day.
No, there literally is a cruise.
And Katie's gonna be like, I'll go with you to the Evo thing. Let's just go on a cruise.
If they had a Dark Souls cruise, it'd be the saddest cruise I've ever been on.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of angry dudes and a bunch of really hot girls and no one's talking to each other. That's basically all of the Souls community.
Accurate.
I don't think they have. I'm really surprised they haven't done big events for like Souls games. Because they do like Zelda themed shit and Mario themed stuff.
Do you think that Dark Souls is as big as Zelda and Mario?
Absolutely.
Though? Really?
But it's because
the community itself, I feel like, is pretty like they don't do a lot of stuff. It's
because
small.
it's the studio from software.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Nintendo. So the big thing about Evo that's controversial is the biggest fighting game of all time is Smash Brothers.
Smash Brothers, yeah.
But Nintendo refuses to acknowledge it as a competitive game.
Oh.
It's always been an issue. Like
really? How do they even control that?
Because to get imagine if Nintendo was at Evo and they can't legally have Smash Brothers at Evo. They haven't.
Really? Because Nintendo would tell them, hey, take your game out of this convention?
Yeah,
it's copyright.
Yeah, because you know how Nintendo's weird about copywriting stuff, but it's also unfortunate because the reason why Smash Brothers on the map is because it's a competitive game.
Course.
But Nintendo's like, no, it's a family game.
Well, I know this is different, but I'll go to like a regular comic book convention and there'll sometimes be a corner of like computers or TV set up and people are like playing video games and Smash Brothers will be there.
It might have been different.
How can they do that just because it's so low?
It's been like
small scale.
It's been a controversial thing for years because imagine how much money could be involved with it. Imagine the sponsorships.
And like, Nintendo's just like, we're just not going to get involved with that at all.
I think it's because they are so Kyoto
Does it involve gambling?
Maybe, but also I think it's because they're like old Kyoto businessmen where it's just like, we're a family company, blah, blah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And when the actual creators of the games don't support this stuff, then it makes it hard for the fandoms to celebrate it. And that's kind of like how From Software is where they don't really support. It's not that they don't support.
But they're just very protective of their thing. They
just don't really get involved with fandom stuff as much.
Well, you know, the Star Trek cruise I don't think is officially owned by Paramount. But I feel like, at this point,
for so long.
Paramount kind of like, you know, they're very aware of it. And so they, you know, all the actors are there.
So many Star Trek franchises because there's been like cartoons.
Yeah.
And there's obviously the books, comic books, like that. It's too big.
It's too big
to be controlled.
Too big to be controlled, just like the poop cruise.
Yeah.
Too big to be
that
controlled.
was literally.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so League of Legends cruise is definitely on your list.
I would do like. Yeah.
What else, if we're out of the realm of video games, but let's say it was like a movie or a TV show? Is there anything that you're like, oh my God, if there was like a blank cruise, that might be fun?
Oh God, there's just so many things in the world.
So much pressure on Katy now.
I know. That's like one of my least favorite questions. Like,
really?
Not that exact one you just asked. No, just like what your like a favorite movie or a TV show.
Really?
Like you just watch so much stuff.
Have you seen that New York Times thing going around where everyone's like doing their own top 10 or top 25, whatever movies of this century? New York Times put out the top 100 movies.
Was Shenmue number 3?
Of these first 25 years? No, the video game Shenmue was not on there. No, but I mean, it had all your regular expected movies on there. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough to, but I know though that actors, they do have their favorite something.
Yeah,
even if you're from when you were a kid, you're like, man, it was...
500 Days of Summer is like a really good movie that I like. I wouldn't go.
Love that movie.
I don't think it's big enough for.
What is very funny about Katy?
Yeah.
Which I don't know if you knew this. So Katy has started a group chat with all of like our streamer friends.
Okay,
basically.
great.
And
I did not know that.
And there's like a couple girls in there that aren't streamers, like Heather and whatnot. But it's like we're all in that space, and it's very funny because we all spend a lot of time together. This is the least amount of time we spend together, and I've seen you like 3 times this year, which is wild.
Yeah.
And they all play video games.
Yeah.
Like Michelle is a streamer, plays video games. So is Angelica. So is Chelsea. But yet, I don't think I've ever talked about video games to any one of.
Well, it's so funny.
Yeah.
I played Repo with Bella and our other friend Austin, and like that was the first time that I think I've played a game with Bella.
Yeah.
I've never played.
Wow.
Have I played anything with you?
No. And I've like.
Yeah, you guys should play games
and
together.
I will raid. I raided Angelica's channel, and she was playing Super Mario Sunshine. In my head, I was like, oh yeah. We all are gamers.
Yeah.
It's very odd because
that's how you get her into League of Legends.
I feel like
play
we
with Katy.
found like
because we have a real friendship.
Yeah, like I feel like we found like people that we genuinely connect with, and so like we don't want to talk about work. We don't want to talk about, and like I don't know what it is, but yeah, we
also
don't.
Not to be that person, but like when I moved to LA, everyone I knew was sober, and I was like, okay, so nobody parties anymore. And then I met Katy, and I was like, oh hell yeah, here we go.
I'm like minimal party. Minimal.
Not me. I'm very open. I was like, I'm sorry, I will drink a lot. It's fine.
It's true. I hung out in Japan with you. Yeah,
if I
twice.
Actually, the first time. So how Hector and I met is we were friends online through Hyper RPG.
Yep.
And you know who Hyper RPG is, right?
I've heard, yes.
Yeah. And he came out to a comedy show in Japan with Abby. And that was the first time we met in person. Yeah. And I was like, oh, Hector's like the really cool comic book guy or whatever. And then I met his girlfriend. I was like, wait, Abby's like so much cooler than you.
Way cooler. And then Lisa was like, I love Abby. I don't care.
She used to be in a band. She's done all this amazing.
She's been in a band?
Yeah, in Japan.
Whoa.
Yeah. And I was like, what is going on? And so then we hung out.
Y'all met in Japan.
Yeah.
In person,
crazy.
yes. Yeah.
In person.
It was funny. It was like Lisa promoting, I'm going to be going to Japan to do a stand-up show. And then I looked at the dates and I was like, I'm going to Japan with Abby for my first visit ever on those same dates. And then I messaged Lisa like, can we go to your stand-up show? And she was like, oh my God, yes, that'd be hilarious. That'd be great. So we got tickets and we went.
Yeah, so that's the first time we met. Yeah. But yeah, with like when I moved to LA, it was because basically all the friends that I grew up with, because I don't know if it's the same for you, they all kind of drifted away from my life. Like they were just like
100%
married, had kids, moved other places. And I was like, well, I only have like a handful of friends left. And then it was actually TwitchCon.
That's where
that was my first decision of like moving to LA, was when we met up.
Yeah.
And we hung out basically all weekend. It was like Michelle was there, Angelica, Chelsea. And I was like, wow, I actually could have like a really good group of friends here in LA. And then when I moved here, it was like, this is where my friend groups are now. And so every time I go back home and I like meet up with my best friend, I'm always like, oh my God, you don't even know about, you haven't even met any of these people yet. And she said something about like, well, you know, I always feel left out because she's like not really into video games. She likes Stardew Valley. But I was like, but here's the thing. My friends are gamers, but I don't think we've ever talked about a video game in our life until now. I didn't even know you played League of Legends until now.
That's crazy.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
I just knew that.
I didn't even know that you loved 500 Days of Summer.
Yeah.
Until a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
That's a great movie, by the way.
It is a good movie.
When's the last time you watched it?
Years? Like, years ago.
It's a good movie that people have
totally you've seen it.
Misread the messages in that movie.
When that movie came out, like over 10 years ago now. Geez, when did it come out? Like 2012 or something? 2013.
Yeah.
No, maybe before 2012.
It was when I was in
2010,
high school.
2009. I think it was like 09.
Yeah.
When that movie came out, it wasn't until my like first major long-term relationship ended.
Oh.
And then I was single for a while and struggling. Then I watched that movie and I was like, man, this hits real hard. But I knew the reading of like, Tom sucks. He's totally getting everything wrong in this relationship with Zooey Deschanel's character. And I just rewatched it earlier this year.
Oh, how funny.
And I was like, still a great movie, still holds up, but I kind of don't need it as much in my life.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I was like, oh, I was in a different place when that movie really affected me.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I'm okay. Thanks, Tom. Thanks, 500 Days of Summer.
It's like me
Goodbye.
with Fight Club.
Yeah.
You know?
Fight Club. Fight Club hits hard when you're like 15. Oh my God. And you get older, you're kind of like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Still great.
500 Days of Summer is a good movie because it taught me that I don't owe men anything.
Absolutely.
It was like
one
of my first movies where I was like, oh, actually, I'm not a bitch in this situation.
Yeah.
But then I remember when that movie came out, people were like just going at it at Zooey, saying she was like an awful person, blah blah. And I was like, A, it's a character.
Yeah, it's not.
And B, you guys have no idea what the message of this movie is.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Is that why it's your favorite?
I think it's just like it's, you know, a romance movie that's not a romance movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's something that's real.
Kind of like Fight Club is a romance movie.
But it's not a romance movie.
You know what else I think I link that movie to is another one of my favorite movies is Castaway. Because they both basically, everybody like dogs on that relationship in 500 Days of Summer, but I think people forget that the end message of that movie is when Tom actually looks at what's important in his life, he's like, actually, I love architecture. I got to stop working at this greeting card company. What am I doing? And then he focuses for like months and months and months, and he sort of like gets back into it, and then he goes to apply at an architecture firm. The movie's telling you when he sits down and he sees another woman there who's very beautiful, seems really nice.
Named Autumn, which
Named
is like,
Autumn.
Oh my
God.
And then he like looks at the camera, but like the message of the movie is like, dude, go focus on yourself and the things that you think that you need, or the things that like you believe will give you a fulfilling life, like being in a relationship, you know, meeting the right person. It'll take care of itself. Like like life is going to treat you that way.
Exactly.
And I think that anytime I'm feeling down too, I'll watch Castaway, and it's the same thing. It's just a movie about resilience, because in that movie, he's with Helen Hunt and then he gets cast away and he's gone for 4 years, and then he comes back, and the sad heartbreak is like, she's moved on. She has babies. She's remarried, and he reconnects with her, and he tells her, he's like, you are the love of my life, but we can't be together. And he drives away. And that package that he held on to, that he goes to deliver, he delivers it to a woman we briefly see at the beginning of the movie who owns a ranch in Texas that had 2 names on it. And at the end of the movie, 4 years later, it's got 1 name on it because she divorced her shitty husband, who we learned was cheating on her. He delivers the thing, and she's also into Elvis.
I love
the way
how much
he's
you
into
remember
Elvis.
of Castaway.
When I love my movies, I
no,
lock
I mean
in.
those are
I remember
those are
Wilson
good movies.
a lot.
Of course. No, I really remember the end message, which is like you have to keep going.
Yeah.
You have to keep surviving. You know, he mentions it very explicitly when he's like, I tried to commit suicide on the island and I couldn't even do that. And then I something clicked and I realized I have to keep surviving. And so, yes, the things that you think you need are eventually going to find their way to you if you just like focus on your passions and live your life and take care of yourself. And, you know, Tom Hanks is just drinking bottles of water at the end of that movie because he was stuck on that island for such a long time. You see his car when he's driving out, he just has like tons of bottles of water. Like, I love that. It's a great reminder to drink water.
Yeah. Hydrate. Drink water. Hydration.
Yeah. Okay. 500 Days of Summer.
I'm drinking it right now.
Arcane, or League of Legends. And then I want to keep asking you the questions you hate.
Will you ever play a Souls game?
I've played 3 one time for an hour, and I said no.
You played through 3?
For some reason, I played Dark Souls 3.
Ooh.
That's a hard one to start off on.
I have another question for you.
Okay.
Because we were talking about this when we did our Patreon episode. I brought this horrible magazine that awful. Lisa and producer Mark hated. He's giving me eyes right now. He's rolling his eyes, which was like the 100 video games you should play before you die.
Oh, okay.
And we went through the whole list, and like
most of them were not.
Some picks were wild, but we talked about this. We're eventually going to do like a 10 video games that sort of shaped who we are. So I'll ask you for one.
Okay.
What's a video game other than League of Legends that you would cite as like, this made me who I am today as a gamer, as a person, whatever? What do you love?
Hellblade.
Hellblade?
Yeah.
What is Hellblade?
No.
I've never heard of it.
It's so funny. This reminds me of when you asked Mark what his nerdy thing is, and he said Warhammer. It's always like something that's like
right?
so
Have you played
Hellblade? No, but I know what it is.
So Hellblade is, I mean, you probably like the gameplay because it kind of has a Soulsy feel to it. But like, I mean, yeah. Anyways, but there's just, It's so good. I've only played the first one. I still haven't had the time to play the second one. But the acting is phenomenal. It's this auditory sense where like it's kind of like ASMR in your ear, and it's just like going in different ways.
So ideally played with headphones.
Yeah,
and like,
but it's just basically it's just about resilience, and it's about like these demons that this woman is dealing with. Like literally, like just
she won't play Dark Souls, but she'll play Hellblade.
That sounds awesome.
But yeah, and like, but she's fighting she's fighting these thoughts in her head, her anxiety, her like these demons, right? And like you hear it, and so like man, like you become her, and like everything that you're dealing with in life or that you have dealt with, like it comes to you. And like I remember I cried so hard. 18 maybe
2018. So it's not
a new one.
Yeah, last year.
It's not an old school game. It was
no
2018.
2018. Okay. But yeah, I think like that one always just really resonates with me.
Did you play that on stream?
Mm-hmm. And I cried so hard at the end.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a really hard game. Like, and it was physically, like, it was hard for me to play too. Like I was failing so much just because the gameplay was really hard. Cause like I didn't like grow up being a gamer, so like having to play these like heavy combat games.
But you also just described like an emotional toll, so that probably made it even more difficult to like get through whatever you had to get through.
But just the end of it, man, it was so good.
Was it like a PC? Steam
game?
I
played on PC. Okay. I think they have it. I think it's on Xbox now as well.
Hellblade.
But yeah, Hellblade is really good. Yes. So Hellblade.
And, I love how you said the story. One of my games, that's spoiler alert, that's going to be on my list is Shadow of the Colossus.
You're so funny. No, that's my second favorite game.
What?
Yeah, that is.
It's one of Lisa's favorite. She only played it.
I played it last year for the first
time. It was awesome.
I love that game.
Yep.
Like that game. Oh man, but I almost quit at the end. I almost rage quit.
Because of the difficulty, or because of the?
Because I just couldn't get up.
You had to climb that.
Yes, I couldn't get up. I
man.
kept falling and failing, and I was so mad. But yeah, no, that game, I love that game.
Very simple, and they don't go too deep into it, but there is a story and some lore there. And then when you kind of learn what it is as you're playing the game, you're like, this is so sad. Yeah. And I just felt like, because this came out on PS2, back in like 2004 or something. I'm like, there was no video games like that.
Do you think that would be a good video game adaptation?
Though if I did it, yeah.
I think it'd be cool.
I could do it.
It kind of falls in the realm of like Arcane almost, where it's like you can be a little
different with it. Yes,
the story's a little subjective.
I think I would do it as a movie, and I would do it as like an hour and a half, like get in, get out, and I would maybe do only some of the colossi as like a montage. Like I'd only focus on a couple and then just kind of get through some of it, and then here's the end of the story.
I played it for the first time last year, and everyone's like, just to let you know, it's a little outdated, which I always think is very funny to tell a millennial. It's like anything I'm gonna play, I'm gonna revert back to that time.
Yeah.
So it's like telling me to play a game on like anything that's become Nintendo 64 to PlayStation 3 is gonna be clunky.
Yeah.
And I played it. It wasn't that bad. The camera was a little messed up, but I was like, as someone who played like Breath of the Wild first and think, oh yeah, no wonder why this was so heavily inspired by this. Totally. I thought it was incredible.
Yeah.
And people just kept saying that, like warning me about it. Like, it's a great game, but it's this, like there isn't a lot of combat. It's like, I can figure this out. And B, I appreciate games by how they're created.
Yeah.
Everyone associates me with Dark Souls or Zelda, but it's like, I will play anything. Like I'm playing that Claire Obscure game right now. It's a French RPG.
Have you played Life is Strange?
I haven't.
Oh, should she, or is it gonna? Do you think it'll make it?
Here's the thing: what if I end up calling you Steph when we're drunk?
What if you end up coming to me and saying, "I feel like I'm
gay now."
I'm gay now.
Yeah. What if I call you Steph and cry into your lap and tell you made me gay? Aren't you a DJ in that?
Yeah, no, she's everything.
Do you have people that are kind of like what we're talking about, where people are only now finding games that may have came out years ago? Do you have people showing up and being like, "I just played it"?
There are people. I probably like if I'm streaming consistently, I'll have maybe like 2 people a week.
Life is Strange was pretty iconic when it came out.
For sure, but I'm saying now people are probably only just getting around to it, discovering
and
it.
Also there's like kids like that were like 5 when the game came out, and now they're 15 and now they're playing it.
And also you just did, was it a DLC or a side story you just did?
Well, the last thing that I did in the franchise was a book.
Oh,
so there was a book
there
was a book that came out in 2022, and I did the audiobook for that, which is like so long ago.
Awesome.
But then there was a DLC for the True Colors, which was one of the games, and then that DLC was my character.
I do think that type of character is like, especially as a voice actress, it's like, it's the weird thing where people are like calling you stuff. At the same time, that's a character that's going to live with you for a very long time.
I don't have any problem.
Yeah.
Like that's why you're like, I introduce you as like Steph from Life is Strange, and I'm like, yes. Yeah. Like if I got offered like another job,
but if we're hanging out together and I call you Steph, you're like, Lisa, I'm fucking Katy. Okay? Like,
but no, like if I could play Steph for the rest of my life, I would, because like she has like I grew with her, like, and we like she's taught me a lot of stuff, you know, and she's so fucking cool, and I just really appreciate that I've been able to help a lot of people through that character, and it's just been like to have that be my first voiceover gig, like I was so lucky, because there's a lot of like games out there that don't like resonate as much, you know, with
the actors just don't really care as much as your character, or they're just like, oh, that was just a thing that I did. I care so freaking much about that franchise, about that fandom, about that character.
Did you all see? Sorry to interrupt. Did y'all see the interview? Same exact thing. This new actor that's playing Superman in the new Superman movie, David Cornsweet, he did an interview with CBS Good Morning whatever. And he's answered the same thing. He goes, as an actor, when this was in my like potential, I had to think about if this is the only character that I'll be like associated with, or like if I can't really get other work because I'm typecast as this character, you know, or if I really can only do the roles of this character if he's showing up in multiple movies or whatever, am I okay with that as an actor? And he really thought about it, and he goes, I would be honored. He was like so okay with it and really happy with it. And that was one of the reasons he said yes to kind of taking it all on. Because when you do get a character like that resonates, those are things that actors have to consider of like, you know, if it's such a hit character, like, will I be typecast, or will people associate me with that character? I mean, they're going to forever. And am I going to be okay with that? So it's so cool that you're like, that you love that character. 100%. And that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
and
really
she's in my wheelhouse of everybody that I've like performed. Like she's my most iconic. Like, like she's, I'm
awesome.
like,
especially as a first one, because you're like, that's going to be your most exciting role. It's going to be your first major role.
Yeah. Well, and because it was 2017 when I first like performed her in a game, and then I got to reprise her 2 years later in True Colors, and then she became like a love interest, like main character, and then she got the DLC, and then she got that book,
and then
so it just and I'm just like,
cool.
Come back again.
What a franchise.
Like Square Enix. Hi.
Keep giving me money. No, I'm just kidding.
Lisa, you got to play this game, dude. You have to stream it.
I know at some point, but then I'm going to just start calling her Steph.
No, you're better than
it's a pretty big franchise now. They have like, I think 6 games out. So.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Easy work
it's
for
Lisa. It's
always
nice to hear this, because even recently with that Expedition 33 Claire Obscure game, the main character is voiced by Charlie Cox, who's the Daredevil, and he just
who's the Daredevil?
The Daredevil. He's in the Daredevil. He is the devil of dares.
He's the man without fear. Daredevil.
Yes. Okay.
Matt Murdock.
Yes. Okay. Anyways, he just did a convention recently where someone congratulated him on that role in the game.
Right.
And he was like, I don't play video games. I just went into the studio and recorded for 4 hours.
Yep.
And apparently I did so good and people love the game, and I'm grateful for that. Like, he didn't really care, which is fine, but he did a phenomenal job. And that's obviously a product of someone who is just like working in the top of their game. Yeah. You know, and because of that, like, he's not going to be as into like emotionally as his character. So he's like, oh, I have all these other big roles to do. Yeah, I'll just do this one-off one real quick and blah, blah. But it's like also a little off-putting when to hear that. I appreciate the honesty, but at the same time, it's like, I kind of wish I didn't read that.
Well, because as somebody who like you're into these games, you want to play these games, and you watch an interview with the voice actor, and it's just like so disconnected and disingenuous, and it's just kind of like, like, you were my favorite like character in this game, and now like I see the real person, and I'm like, oh, you don't really care.
A really funny example is when Mark Hamill apparently voiced the original Majima in the original Yakuza 1 and 2 for PlayStation 2. Oh. And it never got big. And the remakes are what made the game. And they didn't obviously get Mark Hamill come back. But to find out that Mark Hamill voiced like a shitty character on a game that was not big in the US, and everyone being like, dude, you were Majima? He goes, I don't even know what you're talking about. Yeah. He doesn't remember at all. But it's hilarious. Yeah.
He's had hundreds of roles. He's had like so many.
And of course he says like really dumb lines like, hey, Katy, like, what you up to? And blah, blah. And he's just like a gangster. And it's like shitty PlayStation 2 graphics. Yeah. And it's so very much his voice.
That's so funny.
And it's hilarious. I'm like, see, that's hilarious, because it wasn't really a serious role.
No.
Yeah.
And now that character is massive, and Matt Mercer voices him now.
Okay, cool.
But the fact that the original voice actor was Mark fucking Hamill, and he was like, yeah, I don't know, it was 2002 or some shit. Like
20 something years ago.
Yeah, I don't remember this. So anyways, but so any closing thoughts in today's episode?
Yeah, learned a lot about Katie.
Yeah.
And cruise ships.
That was awesome. And cruise
Still
ships.
never going on one, actually. That sounds awful.
I'll someday go on the Star Trek cruise, and it's going to smell great.
I love that most of this episode was you wanting to bring up the Star Trek cruise.
I know. I want to go. I'm wearing a Star Trek shirt right now.
You should talk about this Angelica. She would have loved that.
I know. I should have. Next time I see her, we'll talk. Maybe her and I will go. And that's it.
We'll invite Hector to the girls group.
Yeah.
Under the alias of Abby and be like, anybody want to go to the Star Trek cruise?
Come on, let's go. Live long and prosper.
Anyways, thank you so much, Katie, for joining us today.
Thanks for sharing about Hellblade too. Like, I'm interested in that.
Yeah,
I might want to
check it out. Let me know what you think.
Lisa, you should play that too.
Yeah, I got awesome. As streamers, we got a lot on our plate.
I know.
We got a lot on our plate.
And the important thing is you do whatever makes you happy. So no pressure.
Or money.
No pressure.
Anyways, that's today's episode. And thank you, Katie. Follow Katie on all the things. Watch her stream. She's great. Go play Life is Strange if you haven't. And that's it.